Aaron wiped the sweat from his forehead as he walked through the research outpost. The sun of the rocky alien planet glared down, turning the metallic surfaces of the habitat domes into mirrors. Most humans avoided this outpost. The dragons here were unpredictable and powerful. Even the researchers treated them with caution, careful not to provoke their sharp claws or fiery breath. But Aaron had always been different. He was curious, brave, and willing to see potential where others only saw danger. As he walked toward the maintenance bay, he heard a soft, pitiful sound. It wasn't the roar of a dragon or the clicking of their claws on metal floors. It was weak, almost like a whimper. Aaron paused, scanning the area. He followed the sound to a small enclosure near the edge of the habitat. There, lying on the cold metal floor, was a tiny dragon hatchling. Its wings were underdeveloped, and one leg looked twisted. The hatchling struggled to move, its scales dull and dusted with sand from a recent storm. Most humans would have turned away. Even the other staff whispered that the hatchling was useless or dangerous to touch. But Aaron felt something else, an urge to help. Kneeling down, he spoke softly. "Hey, little one, it's okay. I'm not here to hurt you." The hatchling blinked slowly, its small eyes wary but not hostile. Aaron inspected the hatchling carefully. Its breathing was uneven, and its leg appeared to be slightly broken. He knew that the facility's medics were busy with stronger dragons, and likely wouldn't notice this tiny, disabled creature. Humans often thrived in situations others ignored because they acted with initiative and empathy. Aaron realized he couldn't wait for someone else to help. He moved slowly, letting the hatchling smell his hand. It flinched at first, but didn't pull away entirely. "We'll fix you," he said gently. "Don't worry. I know what to do." Aaron had studied dragon biology, and while he was not a doctor, he knew enough to stabilize a weak creature. Carefully, he lifted the hatchling into his arms, supporting its twisted leg. The hatchling shivered, but it didn't resist. Trust, even in tiny amounts, had begun to form. Aaron carried the hatchling to a quieter corner of the facility, away from the other dragons. He laid it on a padded table and began examining it. Using simple tools and his knowledge of alien biology, he fashioned a small splint for the leg and a soft support for the wings. Humans often survive where others fail because they could invent solutions using limited resources. He cleaned its scales and checked its breathing, humming softly to keep the hatchling calm. Over the next few hours, Aaron carefully fed the hatchling small portions of nutrient paste, watching it eat eagerly but slowly. Most staff avoided the tiny dragon, thinking it fragile and unworthy of attention. But humans often thrived because they could see value in what others overlooked. Aaron realized the hatchling wasn't just a creature in need. It was a life waiting for someone to believe in it. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows across the habitat, a group of researchers passed by. They stopped briefly, whispering to each other. "He's playing with a disabled dragon," one muttered. "That's reckless. The Admiral will see this." The idea of the Federation Admiral, noticing, made some staff uneasy. Most feared his judgment and strict rules. But Aaron didn't care about appearances. He was focused on the hatchling's well-being. Humans often thrive because they followed their own judgment and courage, even when others doubted them. The hatchling started to respond to Aaron's presence. It nudged his hand, blinking as if to say thank you. Its wings twitched, testing the soft supports he had made. Aaron smiled. "You're stronger than you look," he said. "We'll get you moving, little one. Step by step, we'll make it work." The hatchling seemed to understand, and a bond began to form, a connection between human and dragon that was rare and precious. That evening, Aaron stayed late in the facility, watching the hatchling sleep under his care. Its breathing had evened out, and its small body rested peacefully on the padded table. Aaron's heart swelled with pride and hope. Humans often thrive in hostile or alien worlds because they could combine intelligence, courage, and empathy. Alone in this facility, Aaron realized he was not just saving a life. He was proving that care and cleverness could succeed where fear and indifference failed. As night fell over the rocky planet, Aaron looked at the hatchling, its tiny chest rising and falling rhythmically. "We'll face tomorrow together," he whispered. "And no matter what anyone says, you're worth every bit of effort." The hatchling twitched slightly, as if agreeing. Little did Aaron know, a powerful observer had taken notice. From the observation deck above, the Federation Admiral watched silently. Most humans would have been nervous, but Aaron remained calm, continuing his care without hesitation. The Admiral was known for strictness, but also for respect toward courage and intelligence. Humans often thrive where others failed, and soon Aaron's actions might prove exactly why. The desert winds outside howled softly against the facility walls, but inside, a fragile dragon, hatchling and a determined human, had begun something extraordinary. A bond had formed, one that could change not only the hatchling's life, but the way humans and dragons were seen in the Federation. And as the stars appeared in the alien sky, Aaron made a silent promise. He would protect his hatchling, help it grow, and show that humans, through empathy and ingenuity, could make a difference even in the most unexpected places. The morning sun spilled light across the research outpost, and Aaron was already busy in the small corner he had set up for the hatchling. Its tiny scales shimmered faintly under the artificial lights, and its weak legs trembled as it tried to move. Aaron had spent the night thinking about the little dragon, how fragile it was, and how much care it needed. Most humans would have given up or feared it, but Aaron knew that patience and empathy could make a difference. Humans thrive where others fail because they could act with courage and compassion. He knelt beside the hatchling and spoke softly. "Good morning, little one. Ready for today?" The hatchling blinked slowly, as if recognizing his voice. Its small body shivered slightly, but it did not pull away. Aaron smiled. This was a start. Small signs of trust, but a start nonetheless. First, he focused on mobility. The hatchling's legs and wings were weak, and moving even a few steps caused it to stumble. Aaron improvised. Using soft padding and light braces he crafted from spare materials, he supported the hatchling's legs and wings. Slowly, gently, he encouraged it to take small steps. Humans often survive and succeeded because they can invent solutions quickly, turning even fragile creatures into capable learners. The hatchling hesitated at first. Its small claws scraped the padding, and its wings flapped awkwardly. Aaron stayed calm. One step at a time. You can do this. He used quiet encouragement, gentle touch, and careful guidance. The hatchling responded slowly, each movement a small victory. Every time it balanced without falling, Aaron smiled and clapped softly. Positive reinforcement, he knew, was a human strength. They could teach and inspire confidence where fear might otherwise dominate. After a few hours, the hatchling had made significant progress. It could now stand steadily on all four legs and flap its wings a little. Aaron let it explore a small area of the facility, watching closely for any signs of stress or danger. The hatchling tested boundaries, nudging objects, sniffing corners, and moving closer to Aaron when unsure. Humans often thrived in alien environments because they could read behavior and respond wisely. Aaron was doing exactly that, adapting his approach based on the hatchling's reactions. During one exercise, the hatchling tried to climb a small ramp but faltered and nearly fell. Aaron caught it gently, cradling it in his arms. "It's okay," he whispered. "You're learning. Falling is part of getting stronger." The hatchling rested against his chest, breathing steadily. Humans often survive where others fail because they could combine care with encouragement, turning mistakes into lessons rather than failures. As the day went on, Aaron introduced simple play. He had found small, lightweight spheres in the facility and rolled them toward the hatchling. At first, it only watched. Then, slowly, it nudged the sphere with its snout, surprising itself. Aaron cheered quietly. Humans often thrive because they encourage creativity and experimentation, teaching others through action and play. The hatchling began to anticipate movement, nudging the ball more confidently and even attempting short flaps to follow it. Feeding was another area where trust had to be built. The hatchling was hesitant to eat in Aaron's presence at first. He used a patient approach, holding the food carefully and speaking softly. Slowly, it approached, licking the paste from his hand. Aaron remained calm, allowing the hatchling to take as much time as it needed. Humans often succeeded in alien or dangerous situations because they could combine patience, understanding, and clever techniques. By evening, the bond between Aaron and the hatchling had strengthened. The small creature no longer flinched at his touch. It would nuzzle against him, responding to his voice and gentle gestures. Humans often survive by forming partnerships and alliances, not only with other humans, but with beings far stronger or stranger than themselves. Aaron had created that partnership through consistent care and clever guidance. That night, Aaron stayed late again, sitting beside the hatchling as it rested. He reflected on the progress they had made. In just a few days, the dragon had gone from almost immobile and fearful to exploring its small environment, interacting, and showing signs of curiosity. Humans often thrive because they can inspire growth and trust in situations others thought hopeless. Aaron smiled, knowing that patience and empathy were powerful tools, sometimes more effective than strength or technology. Suddenly, he sensed movement above. The observation deck had a faint light, and he saw the shadow of the Federation Admiral. Aaron froze for a moment. Most humans would have been nervous or hesitant, worried about judgment, but he stayed calm, continuing his care for the hatchling. Humans often succeeded because they could act courageously and wisely, even under scrutiny. The Admiral observed quietly, noting the hatchling's responsiveness and Aaron's careful, patient methods. He did not intervene, but his presence made Aaron more aware of the stakes. Despite the silent observation, he continued to guide the hatchling through exercises, encouraging movement and play. Humans often thrive by balancing courage, intelligence, and empathy in moments that mattered most. By the end of the night, the hatchling curled beside Aaron, its tiny chest rising and falling in rhythm with his breathing. Trust had been built, slowly and carefully, through small victories and consistent care. Humans often succeeded because they could turn fragile beginnings into lasting bonds, creating connections that transcended species and strength. Aaron looked at the hatchling, brushing dust from its scales. "Tomorrow we'll do more," he whispered. "We'll keep learning, growing, and getting stronger together. No one else has to understand. I know what we can do." The hatchling nuzzled him gently, a silent acknowledgement of trust and partnership. Outside, the wind of the alien planet howled softly, but inside the facility, a human and a small dragon hatchling had formed a bond, one that was rare, strong, and built on patience, ingenuity, and courage. Humans thrive because they could see potential where others saw weakness. Aaron knew this was only the beginning, but he was ready for whatever came next. The morning light filtered through the tall windows of the research outpost. Aaron was already at the hatchling's enclosure, guiding it gently as it practiced stepping and flapping its wings. The tiny dragon had grown more confident, but it was still fragile, its small body trembling with every new movement. Aaron encouraged it patiently, his hands steady and careful. Humans often thrive in alien worlds because they could combine patience, intelligence, and courage, and Aaron was proving it with every careful step. As he adjusted a small support for the hatchling's wings, Aaron sensed a presence in the observation deck above. He glanced up and froze for a moment. The Federation Admiral had arrived. The man's reputation was legendary, strict, decisive, and impossible to impress easily. Most humans would have felt nervous, perhaps even fearful, under his watchful gaze. But Aaron stayed calm. He focused on the hatchling, knowing that fear would only make the small creature anxious. Humans often succeeded because they could act decisively and wisely, even when under scrutiny. The hatchling shivered slightly, sensing the tension. Aaron crouched beside it and whispered, "It's okay. Just keep practicing." He gently guided its legs, helping it balance. The Admiral's shadow moved silently above, watching every motion, every gesture. Most other staff had tried to impress him with formal demonstrations, but Aaron knew that real skill and care came from patience and genuine understanding, not showmanship. For several hours, Aaron continued his work. He encouraged a hatchling to push small weights, to flap its wings in rhythm, and to explore a short obstacle course he had set up with spare materials. The hatchling's confidence grew steadily. Humans often thrive because they could turn teaching and guidance into real results, even in creatures much stronger or stranger than themselves. At one point, the hatchling stumbled and nearly fell off a raised platform. Aaron reacted instantly, catching it safely in his arms. He whispered softly, brushing its scales and checking for injury. The hatchling pressed close, trusting him completely. The Admiral remained silent above, observing the small but significant interactions. Humans often survive and excel because they combine quick thinking with empathy, protecting others while encouraging growth. Other researchers peeked from the corners, whispering. "Look at him," one said. "He's risking everything for that hatchling." Another replied, "The Admiral will see this. If he disapproves, most humans would have hesitated." But Aaron ignored the gossip. His focus was on the hatchling, helping it overcome weakness with guidance, creativity, and patience. Humans often thrive because they could act decisively even when others fear judgment. By midday, the hatchling could flap steadily, even take a short leap to a nearby platform. Aaron clapped softly, praising it. "Good job. See? You're stronger than yesterday." Step by step. The hatchling responded with a small chirp and a wag of its tiny tail. The Admiral leaned closer, watching the progress. He had seen countless dragon-trained teams and humans in his life, but the combination of patience, ingenuity, and courage displayed here was unusual. Humans often excelled in ways that others could not anticipate. Aaron noticed the Admiral's attention and decided to demonstrate the hatchling's growing abilities naturally. He encouraged it to navigate a small maze of ramps and padded obstacles. Each successful attempt was rewarded with gentle touch and praise. The hatchling gained confidence, moving faster and more deliberately. Humans often thrive because they could balance encouragement with challenge, teaching others to achieve more than they believed possible. Lunch arrived, and most of the staff retreated. Aaron fed the hatchling small portions carefully, making sure it ate enough to regain energy. The hatchling responded eagerly, eating from his hand and pressing its head against him. The Admiral did not interfere. He simply observed quietly, taking note of the human's methods. Humans often survive and succeeded where others fail because they acted thoughtfully, combining intelligence, care, and courage. Later, a small emergency occurred. A support beam in the enclosure loosened, threatening the hatchling's safety. Aaron reacted immediately. Using spare tools, he stabilized the structure while keeping the hatchling calm in his arms. The small creature watched him closely, trusting his every movement. Even under the Admiral's watchful eyes, Aaron remained calm and resourceful. Humans often thrive because they could solve problems quickly, especially when lives depended on it. By evening, the hatchling was resting comfortably, its breathing steady, its small body relaxed. Aaron leaned back, tired but satisfied. The Admiral finally spoke, his voice firm but not unkind. "You've shown courage, patience, and intelligence. You see potential where others ignore weakness. That is rare." Aaron's heart raced. Humans often succeeded where others failed because they were willing to act with empathy and ingenuity in ways no one else would. The hatchling stirred, sensing the approval and calm around it. It chirped softly and nuzzled Aaron. The Admiral nodded once and turned to leave, silently acknowledging that he had witnessed something extraordinary. Humans often thrive because they can inspire trust and confidence, turning small victories into life-changing results. As night fell over the alien outpost, Aaron stayed with the hatchling, brushing dust from its scales and whispering encouragement. "You've done so well today," he said softly. "We'll keep growing together." The hatchling curled beside him, completely at ease. Humans often thrive because they could build partnerships, create trust, and achieve remarkable outcomes where others hesitated. And though the Federation Admiral had seen everything, Aaron did not feel fear or pride. He felt purpose. He had shown that empathy, intelligence, and courage were more powerful than rules, fear, or reputation. In the quiet of the outpost, a human and a disabled dragon hatchling had formed a bond that no observer could ignore, a bond that would shape the challenges and victories yet to come. The morning was bright, but an unusual tension hung over the research outpost. Aaron had just finished guiding the hatchling through its daily exercises when a loud alarm rang through the facility. A warning light blinked red above the main entrance. Dust and sand had shifted during the night, weakening part of the outer wall, and small debris had begun falling into the dragon enclosures. The hatchling looked around nervously, chirping softly. Aaron's heart pounded. Humans often survive in dangerous environments because they could think quickly, act decisively, and improvise solutions that others would miss. He scooped the hatchling into his arms and assessed the situation. The wall was cracked and unstable, and loose panels threatened to collapse at any moment. Other researchers were running for safety, shouting warnings, but Aaron remained calm. "It's okay," he whispered to the hatchling. "We can fix this. Stay with me." Humans thrived in crises because they could combine empathy, intelligence, and courage to protect the vulnerable. Aaron quickly examined his surroundings. He saw spare materials in the storage bay, reinforced panels, clamps, and some portable welding tools. With the hatchling still in his arms, he formulated a plan. Humans often succeeded where others failed because they could solve problems creatively, using whatever resources were at hand. He moved carefully, keeping the hatchling safe as he attached temporary supports to the weakened wall. Sparks flew as he welded metal braces into place, but his hands were steady. The hatchling chirped nervously, sensing danger, but also feeling the calm presence of Aaron. Humans often thrive because they can inspire trust even in moments of fear. As Aaron worked, a section of the ceiling began to sag dangerously. He ducked just in time as a small panel fell nearby. The hatchling squeaked but did not panic. Aaron adjusted his grip, using his free hand to secure another brace. Humans often survive by thinking quickly, analyzing risk, and acting decisively under pressure. Nearby, some staff were watching from a safe distance, unsure if they should intervene. The Federation Admiral had arrived again, observing silently from the upper deck. Most humans would have been nervous under his gaze, but Aaron ignored it. His focus was on the hatchling and the immediate danger. Human ingenuity often shone brightest in moments where fear could have frozen action. With careful precision, Aaron created a temporary barrier to hold falling debris and reinforced the cracked wall using spare metal plates and clamps. Each adjustment had to be exact. One mistake could collapse the wall further. The hatchling watched him intently, wings flapping slightly as it leaned into Aaron's chest. Humans often thrive because they could combine logic, creativity, and empathy to save lives. Suddenly, a larger section of debris began to shift. Aaron realized the temporary braces alone might not hold. He grabbed a portable generator and rigged a magnetic support system he had seen in old repair manuals. It was risky, but humans often succeeded because they could improvise solutions that seemed impossible. Carefully, he activated the system. The magnetic support snapped into place, stabilizing the wall and preventing further collapse. The hatchling chirped loudly, nudging Aaron's hand as if thanking him. Aaron smiled despite the danger. "We did it," he said softly. "See? Nothing can stop us if we stay calm and clever." Humans thrive because they could turn knowledge, quick thinking, and determination into life-saving action, even in alien environments. By the time the alarm stopped, the wall was stable, the debris cleared, and the hatchling was safe. Aaron set it down gently, letting it test its wings and legs. The small dragon moved carefully but confidently, as if aware of the danger it had just survived. Humans often succeeded where others hesitated because they could protect, teach, and inspire confidence simultaneously. The Federation Admiral descended to the main floor. His eyes scanned the facility and rested on Aaron and the hatchling. "I watched everything," he said, his voice calm but firm. "Your courage, quick thinking, and care saved that hatchling. You saw what others ignored and acted when most would have hesitated. That is human ingenuity at its finest." Aaron's chest swelled with pride. Humans often thrive because they could combine intelligence, creativity, and empathy in ways no other species could. The other staff members looked on in awe. Many had doubted the hatchling's survival, believing it too weak and fragile. But Aaron had proved them wrong. The dragon now moved with more confidence, responding to his voice and gestures. Humans often excelled because they could turn hopeless situations into triumphs through determination and clever action. That evening, Aaron sat beside the hatchling, brushing dust from its scales. The small dragon leaned into him, eyes bright and trusting. "We survived today, didn't we?" Aaron whispered, "And we did it together." Humans thrive because they could form bonds, solve problems, and face danger with courage and creativity, transforming fragile beginnings into lasting success. The Admiral observed quietly from a distance, then nodded once before leaving. He understood that Aaron's actions were not just bravery. They were an example of what humans could do in extreme situations. Combine intelligence, empathy, and quick thinking to protect life and achieve the impossible. Humans often survive where others fail because they could see potential, act decisively, and inspire trust. As night fell over the outpost, the hatchling curled beside Aaron, no longer trembling or fearful. It had learned to trust, to respond, and to move with confidence. Aaron looked at it and smiled. Humans thrive because they could turn weakness into strength, danger into opportunity, and fear into courage. He knew that tomorrow, the hatchling would grow stronger, and together, they would face whatever challenges the alien world had left for them. For now, the facility was safe, the hatchling was alive, and Aaron had proven that humans could accomplish extraordinary things through ingenuity, bravery, and compassion. The quiet hum of the outpost was a reminder that even in the harshest conditions, life could thrive when humans applied their unique strengths. The morning sun shone brightly over the research outpost, casting long shadows across the metallic walkways. Aaron had woken early, as usual, to check on the hatchling. Its small eyes blinked sleepily, but there was a new energy in its movements. It stretched its wings carefully, testing them, and then chirped softly as if greeting him. Aaron smiled. Humans often thrive because they can notice growth and celebrate progress, even in fragile beginnings. Today was different. The Federation Admiral would hold a formal review of the facility. Most staff were tense, straightening uniforms and double-checking reports. Aaron carried the hatchling gently, knowing it might be overwhelmed by the activity. Humans often excelled because they could remain calm and focused while others panicked. He set the hatchling down in its enclosure, allowing it to explore cautiously while he prepared a simple demonstration of its progress. When the Admiral entered the main chamber, his eyes swept the room with practiced authority. Staff bowed and straightened, but Aaron remained composed. He had nothing to hide. The hatchling chirped softly, nuzzling his hand, and the Admiral's gaze fell upon them. Humans often thrive because they could act naturally under observation, letting their skills and empathy speak louder than words. Aaron began demonstrating the hatchling's abilities. It stepped confidently across a small obstacle course, flapped its wings steadily, and even nudged a small ball toward him. The room was silent, except for the soft sounds of the hatchling's movement. Humans often succeeded because they could show results through action rather than explanation. The Admiral watched closely, noting every detail. The hatchling's coordination, its responsiveness to Aaron's commands, and the careful guidance Aaron provided. Most humans would have been nervous or stiff, but Aaron remained calm, patient, and attentive. Humans thrive because they could combine courage, intelligence, and empathy, even under scrutiny from the most powerful beings. After the demonstration, the Admiral spoke. His voice was calm, carrying authority, but also a rare note of respect. This hatchling should not have survived without constant care. Yet here it is, moving confidently, responding to guidance, and learning to thrive. That is because of the human beside it. You showed courage, patience, and ingenuity. You acted where others would have hesitated. You understood potential when most saw only weakness. Aaron felt a surge of pride. Humans often succeeded in impossible situations because they could act decisively and wisely when others doubted themselves. Other staff members exchanged glances, some amazed, others quietly impressed. Many had doubted the hatchling's survival, believing it too weak, too disabled. But Aaron's dedication had changed everything. Humans often thrive because they can inspire trust and growth, proving that even fragile beginnings could become remarkable outcomes. The Admiral stepped closer to Hatchling, observing its wings and legs carefully. He reached out, not to interfere, but to examine the results of Aaron's work. The hatchling responded calmly, nuzzling Aaron instead of recoiling. Humans often excel because they could teach and guide others to trust, even when fear or danger was present. Finally, the Admiral addressed the entire room. "Let this be a lesson," he said firmly. "Humans have unique strengths. Empathy, intelligence, creativity, and courage allow them to succeed where others fail. Observe how careful guidance and resourcefulness save this creature. Learn from this example. Respect what humans can accomplish, not only with tools or technology, but with thought, care, and heart." Humans often thrive because they could demonstrate excellence in ways that inspired admiration and change. After the formal review ended, Aaron returned to the hatchling. It chirped happily, flapping its wings and nudging his hand. "See," he whispered, "we did it together. The hatchling had grown stronger, more confident, and more trusting. Humans often succeeded because they could create bonds that allowed growth, learning, and achievement to flourish. The rest of the day was quieter. Aaron spent time reinforcing the hatchling's exercise routines, helping it practice flying in small arcs and encouraging exploration. Staff came by occasionally to observe or ask questions. Many expressed surprise at how quickly the hatchling had adapted. Humans often thrive because they could combine teaching, guidance, and care to achieve results no one expected. As evening fell, Aaron stepped outside onto the observation deck. The sky was filled with alien stars, and the twin moons reflected silver light across the rocky landscape. The hatchling perched nearby, flapping its small wings experimentally. Aaron smiled. Humans often thrived in unknown worlds because they could adapt, inspire trust, and turn challenges into opportunities. The Admiral returned for a brief moment, nodding to Aaron. "You've done well. You've shown that human ingenuity and care can change outcomes. Keep this example in mind." With that, he departed. Aaron watched him leave, feeling a quiet satisfaction. Humans often succeeded because their actions could speak louder than words, proving their value in every challenge. The hatchling chirped again, nudging Aaron's hand. He reached down and stroked its scales gently. "We've only just begun," he said softly. "There are more challenges, more lessons, and more adventures ahead. But together we can face anything." Humans thrive because they can inspire courage, foster trust, and create extraordinary outcomes even in alien worlds. That night, the hatchling curled beside Aaron as he watched the stars. Its breathing was steady, its wings relaxed, and its trust in him complete. Humans often succeeded because they could form bonds that lasted, combining intelligence, creativity, and empathy in ways that changed lives. Aaron whispered softly, "Tomorrow we'll explore more. We'll grow stronger. And no matter what comes, we'll do it together." The hatchling chirped in response, tiny wings flapping once more in anticipation. Humans often thrive because they could see possibilities, nurture potential, and create hope where none existed before. The research outpost was quiet. The stars shone brightly, and a human and a dragon hatchling had proven something extraordinary. Together, they had survived, grown, and inspired those who watched. The hatchling was no longer fragile, and Aaron had earned recognition for his courage, ingenuity, and care. Humans thrived not because they were the strongest, but because they were clever, compassionate, and willing to act when it mattered most. As Aaron settled beside the hatchling for the night, he knew this was only the beginning. New horizons awaited, challenges and adventures that no one could foresee. But humans, through their intelligence, courage, and heart, would continue to thrive, turning even fragile lives into stories of hope and achievement.